Welcome. This is InnoVint's first ever webinar on AI in winemaking, which is super cool, and we're making history today. My name is Lauren Heidel, and I lead our community and events marketing here at InnoVint. You may have seen me before hosting one of our video podcasts, Expert Talks, maybe in our online winemaking community, The Punchdown, or even in real life recently at any of the wine industry events around the US, which is my personal favorite way to connect with all of you. But today, I'm very excited to be moderating this webinar focused on streamlining your winery workflows with AI. I'm joined here today with our trailblazing CTO, Dan Strangier, who has been working tirelessly to ship these new AI functionalities to desktops near you. And now I'd like to just take a moment to remind everyone who we are and what we do here at InnoVint. In case you aren't familiar, some of you may be familiar, but InnoVint is a cloud-based winery operating system. We help wineries of all sizes efficiently manage their wine production processes, help manage their inventory, their cost accounting, as well as compliance and reporting. But now, in this new frontier, I will pass it over to Dan to take a deep dive into AI winemaking operations. Take it away, Dan.
All right. Thank you so much, Lauren. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. I've already seen a ton of familiar faces in chat. Thanks for saying hi. And if I haven't met you yet in person, I'm looking forward to doing that soon. My name is Dan Strangier. I am the CTO and co-founder of InnoVint. I've been building this platform for over 13 years with Ashley. We work with an absolutely incredible team here. I've led the design and development on every major evolution of InnoVint, from our complex costing and compliance engines, our zany and awesome 3D tank maps, all the way to our fully offline mobile application, just to name a few. And now I'm super excited to pair InnoVint's extensive APIs with AI to unlock even new levels of efficiency gains for our users. Okay, our agenda. Today, I'll quickly ground us in what's happening in AI, specifically around LLMs and AI agents. I'll share how I think agentic AI is fundamentally changing how we interact with software. I'll demo real innovative AI features you can start using today, and then I'll share our future vision of where innovative AI becomes deeply embedded across the platform. And we'll then close with some Q&A. I do want to note that I'm going to spend a bit of time up front talking broadly about AI, but I think it's important that everyone increases their awareness and knowledge on this topic. And I hope you find the high-level overview helpful and interesting. So it's maybe going to be 10 to 15 minutes before we get into the fun and awesome demos. I want to start with chatbots because most of us are familiar with them, and I'd imagine many of you have already tried tools like ChatGPT. They answer questions, they draft emails, they summarize documents. Chatbots are cool, but the question is, where are the real efficiency gains? And if you've been following along with technology news, surely you've heard all the AI hype that it's going to make us all more efficient. But most wineries and professionals, chatbots haven't fundamentally changed daily workflows. However, a new technology built on chatbots called AI agents have incredible potential to take on the monotonous work we all do behind our computers. And these AI agents are the future of all software. Agentic AI, or simply agents, represent the next major leap in software productivity. All the AI companies have already launched them. Agents use LLMs to reason, plan, and take action. Today, I hope to give you a better mental model for what agents are, because again, I promise you they're going to shape the next decade of software. The cool thing is agents promise to reduce the repetitive, monotonous tasks that we all do on our computers and hopefully offload that work to AI. Before we talk about agents, what's helpful to understand at a high level what a large language model is, what an LLM is. LLMs are the technology behind chatbots, and specifically ChatGPT. LLMs are prediction engines. They're trained on massive amounts of text. And like massive is an understatement. It's literally trained on every word ever written. When you ask a question, they predict the next word and then the next. And crazily enough, that creates what looks and feels like reasoning. They're very good at understanding language and context. You could call it a fancy pattern recognition program that does vastly undersell how powerful the technology is. Um, Importantly, LLMs don't understand your winery. They don't access your systems. They don't take action. They only generate text. That said, it's often very well-spoken text and very accurate text too. Okay, agents live on top of LLMs. An AI agent connects an LLM to other systems and tools, like giving it the ability to connect to an API or external system. So agents can create digital work orders, they can import analyses, they can generate reports, they can send emails. You can still think of LLM as the brain. The LLM handles reasoning, language, and decision making, but an AI agent takes the results of the LLM and execute on it. So if the LLM says you should create a work order, the agent will go and do that. Importantly, AI agents can receive feedback from the system. Did that work or did that fail? And if it fails, it can actually retry within certain boundaries. That feedback loop is really powerful here. So in summary, a chatbot generates text responses and an AI agent can execute digital work. If this isn't perfectly clear right now, that's okay. We have a few more examples to try and frame this in a helpful way. Let's walk through an example. Let's not get too in the weeds of this diagram. We're a human named John. You give an agent a goal, which is plan a dinner party for 10 people this Friday for my friends and I. Here's their emails. The agent takes that request and doesn't immediately act. In fact, the first thing it literally does is takes your question and sends it to an LLM and says, hey, ChatGPT, what steps are required to accomplish this? Then the LLM responds with a structured plan, something like decide on a menu, check dietary restrictions, create a shopping list, and then send invitations. The agent then stores that plan that ChatGPT gave it into its own memory and say, here's my plan I'm going to do. And then it goes line by line and executes on them, oftentimes setting that back into an LLM for direction. LLM agents have these things called tools. These are the things that give them the ability to do things like search the internet, do an API call, send an email. An agent can only do what the tools you give it. Okay, so now with this entire plan, it goes through each step, it'll accomplish their job, and it'll check it off. Once every part of the plan is done, it says, okay, John, I did it for you, hooray. Just as an example here, in the check dietary restrictions to-do list, it might send an email to each person asking to clarify their dietary restrictions. Once it gets all of their email responses, it has all its restrictions, and then it can mark that part of the plan as complete. Okay, I think examples are quite helpful here. So let's quickly blast through a few more examples of what agents can accomplish. A good one is order my dinner. We just basically went through something very similar, but basically order me and my wife a nice Japanese dinner. The agent searches restaurants, picks dishes, places the order, and texts you the confirmation. You can also have an agent handle your tasting bookings. So if you grant an agent access to all of your emails, it'll look for all emails that are asking, can we book a tasting for 8 people next Saturday? Well, an agent can find the email, it can check your calendar, it can book it, it can send a confirmation and pairing suggestions and add that reservation all to your CRM without human intervention needed. Another really exciting one is having your agent handle all your receipts and invoices. So every time you have a supplier receipt or tasting room sale, snap a photo, upload that to some Google Drive. The agent can read all those receipts. It can watch that folder. It can then put the receipt and the numbers in a spreadsheet. It can categorize it. It can flag anything that's weird and then send you an email with any questionable parts of that receipt. Okay, so now let's transition to what agents can theoretically do for wineries. Spoiler, InnoVint plans to build all of these. Okay, I want InnoVint to automatically ingest every document, digital or paper, and automatically convert it into structured InnoVint data. So imagine an AI agent lives in your email inbox, or you can forward these things to our email. When an invoice arrives for a dry good, it gets automatically created in InnoVint with the proper quantity, cost, batch number, and it also attaches that PDF into InnoVint. Or you can forward the agent a bill of lading, a 5-page bill of lading that's complex composition. And then the agent can automatically import that received wine with perfectly compliant composition tracking. Or how about scanning all of your paperwork orders in the cellar to automatically import that into InnoVint, into structured, validated, compliance approved data? In supply, our finished goods platform, we are capturing wholesale purchase orders, and we plan to fully create the digital purchase order from an inbound email from a distributor. All of these examples are a genuinely massive time save for wineries and are all possible with agentic AI. Here's a really simple scenario where we plan on having this permeate the platform, which is basically intelligent autocomplete. Imagine in an event and right-clicking a lot. And instead of building a work order from scratch, AI suggests a work order for you. Likely it's due for a topping or sulfur addition. It can pre-select the correct source lot, the vessel, the sulfur product, even the target ppm. For topping, it could even suggest the ideal lots to top from. You review it, you click accept, or you adjust it with one simple sentence. This is assistive AI, and it can dramatically reduce clicks and speed up decisions throughout the entire platform. But I sort of want to plant the seed for a much more next level AI that is going to be coming in the future, which is acting on your behalf or preparing in your behalf. So instead of suggesting a single action, AI prepares full work plans and schedules for the seller. It can run compliance checks automatically and flag anything that looks off before it becomes a problem. It can update tax classes across multiple lots on your behalf. Importantly, this is all making plans for you that you can review and then do the final review to execute on it. So the difference is you wouldn't necessarily ask this to be done. It would kick off the plan in the background. It would not record anything and say, hey, here's what I think you should do next. Do you approve or not? You can press no and toss it all away if you don't want. But this kind of always running agentic AI in the background and preparing you with the best info possible is a very powerful concept that will be coming to many software tools in general and especially InnoVint. This one I'm quite bullish on is autonomous COGS accuracy. We believe so strongly that having a strong understanding of your COGS per SKU is critical in the wine industry to make great business decisions. But today, to do that, it requires, dedicated time or a finance resource to enter your starting costs and your overheads manually. That's an annoying and a bottleneck usage of time. Our vision is an AI agent to handle that process, ingest starting COGS, allocating overheads automatically and intelligently, and consistently maintain accurate cost structures across all your lots and SKUs. It could flag anomalies, identify gaps, and keep the data clean. But the vision of this is because we really want profit per SKU as our end goal. When Make is paired with our supply platform, you can see perfect COGS per SKU, perfect revenue per SKU, and you have a clear picture of how your business is doing per SKU. And importantly, this frees up your finance team to focus on analysis, strategy, and driving value, instead of spending their time on manual system entry. All right, that was a lot. We aren't there yet with all those ideas, but we've laid the groundwork to deliver a lot of them in the very near future. So let's transition into what we've built so far. We've been experimenting with AI for 3 years, and I've gotten serious with it over about the last year now that the technology has matured. We have 3 features in the platform live, which is AI analysis import, AI work order creation, and AI generated reporting. And let's now jump into the fun stuff. Okay, at the simplest level, this is just a really simple feature to grasp. You take a picture of any kind of document that contains analyses, and we will automatically translate that into structured analysis data. It is borderline magical. You can give it a tank code, you can give it a lot code, you don't have to give it units, and it works. Seeing really is believing, and so let's go through a few demos of this. So in the platform, there's an AI analysis import button. You'll see that there is a choose file button. Here's where you can upload a picture of any file, It can be a handwritten note. It can be a picture of your computer screen. It can be anything. So here's a screenshot that I'm uploading. And we'll quickly look at that example that I just shared. We just saw that, right? And if you look at it, some of this is kind of chicken scratchy, right? That too was a little suspect there, honestly. Um, you wouldn't you'd forgive someone for hand entering that wrong to the computer. So let's continue here. Okay. And then you just press run AI. That's it. Analyzes the image, and then it will do a few things here. It will find the tank code and match it to a lot code, and then it will import all of those analysis values. So you can see it read on the document T01. It found that same exact tank code in InnoVint, and that is the lot inside the platform. It's done that for all of the vessel codes. It found bricks and temperature, nailed all of the analysis on here and pre-selected a unit for you given what it thinks that was. And just like that, we imported 12 analysis with a simple picture, and it's as simple as that. After you record this, so you also given right here, you can make any edits you want to this screen. You press submit, and here's what's really cool. After you submit it, you can go to the submitted action, and we actually store the original picture that you used to import that. So we can always reference the original source document and can edit these at any point in time if necessary. This technology has been incredible for us. We got 20 wineries participating in the beta during harvest. We imported over 1,000 documents with over 10,000 analyses imported. One winery imported a single document with 217 analyses on a single document. Can you imagine how much that would have sucked to hand enter 217 analyses? This has really, eliminated a ton of keystrokes for folks. And for the love of your staff who does double data entry, please start using this feature. It really just works. As an example of that, I wanted to include a few real world examples of what's possible. We have a printed worksheet straight from the InnoVint platform where you can request bricks and temp. This gives tanks, assign it to someone, and then a cellar staff can come in through here and just fill it out. Folks have printed their own sheets and their own Excel spreadsheets. This imports perfectly with pH, the date, if you provide it. More classically handwritten clipboards, absolutely nails it. This is really clever. Somebody literally took a picture of a spreadsheet and completely imported all of these analyses flawlessly. It's really flexible and durable. And I give these examples to show you if it has an analysis name and a value, you can import it. And actually, even if it doesn't have a name on it, you can even import it with using we call the additional context field. It's super powerful. It's extra instructions that you can provide to the AI to help give it instructions on how to import the data successfully. I always tell folks, imagine that this context field is sort of instructions you'd give to a coworker when handing them a document to say, hey, I have a bunch of results here, but don't import yesterday's results. I already got them in. Or ignore all values with a clear value. Or only import the bricks and temp. I don't trust my other measurements. Or only import the alcohol. Or the probe is reading 3 degrees too low. Add that offset to all temperature readings. By giving the context, the AI will correctly interpret this. And as an example, let's look at a demo of this. So here's the same interface we just saw, and I'm going to upload a different file called the FermGen worksheet, which I just showed you. Let's take a look at it. Okay. You can see there's tanks analyses on it. So I import the file. I press import, run AI. And then now it's importing, looks like, how many analyses do we have here? Okay, 30 analyses, a bunch of all the chicken scrap perfectly matched, all the lots and vessels. Now I can show you how we can use the additional context field to modify this import. So I have a made up example here of I'm going to ask it only import tanks with an even or odd number at the end. I understand this is totally contrived, but I put this here as an example of what's possible. So I'm telling the AI only import tanks with an even number, and then I rerun the AI. And you can see here what it did. Literally, now only imports tank 26, tank 6, 10, 2, 4, 14, 18, 20, etc. It completely interpreted my request successfully. And now I only have 16 analyses on the even tanks across bricks and temperature. You can even modify the context further. You can keep going with it and say, actually, I only want the bricks and only import bricks, and then rerun the AI, and you'll see just how accurate it interprets your request. And now I'm just importing even numbered bricks results from that document. Okay. How you might use this is totally flexible. We've seen people use the context field in really powerful ways. As an example, this fellow had a list of lot codes and a bricks and temp sheet across 3 days. Each one of these columns represents a day, and they would basically enter this in, take a photo, and then reprint it out for their staff. So column 1 and column 2 is already in InnoVint. They do not need to re-import that. So if you take a picture of this document and use the analysis import tool, it's going to grab all of these columns, and you don't need them. They're already in. So you can simply prompt the additional context field a variety of ways to accomplish this, to say, hey, when you upload this into InnoVint, you can say, only import the handwritten values, and it'll completely ignore these columns. Or you could say, ignore the first 2 columns. Or you could say, only import the last column of bricks and temp. Awesome. Okay, we're going to move on now to AI work order creation. This one is pretty simple to describe. You simply speak into your phone and describe the work order you want to be created. And if a human can interpret your work order within 3 sentences, our goal is to have the AI successfully create that. Some examples are listed here. We'll go through them in a moment. Importantly, right now, this is supported on their mobile device right now. So it supports speaking and typing. And we're going to bring this technology to all platforms, including the desktop. So you'll have your little work order assistant right next to you on the desktop as well. As always, seen is believing. And I recorded, I think, 5 or 6 sequential work orders yesterday for us all to see here. I'll probably pause it a few times to give some context for everyone. Okay, so in your mobile Inno app, there's a new button at the bottom called the Create AI Work Order. You tap it, and you're presented an option to type or speak. You press the speak button and create a pump over work order for all my tanks that are currently fermenting, requesting a bricks and temp on each, and assign it to Kevin due tomorrow. Okay, the first thing that's just mind-blowing is look how fast and accurate the user request just came in. Absolutely nailed my voice, and candidly, I'm not the clearest and most pronunciated speaker. Very impressive. Okay, let's continue. So it found the user request. It's searching up what task it should use. It's looking for winery users. It's finding the lots. And then ultimately a work order is created just like that. Let's probably slow down just a moment here. So what happened, has the user request. I told it to assign it to Kevin. So it's using a fetch winery user tool to find all users in the winery and then match Kevin to that. I'm also asking it to create a pump over for all fermenting tanks. Okay, so it needs to find all the tanks and vessels from that query. So now it's doing, okay, well, what lots are fermenting across what tanks? That's that tool here. And then lastly, it takes it all together and puts it into a work order down here. We can click it right here. And then here is our work order. Pump over and bricks temp for fermenting lots. Also does a great job with titles. We can see it's assigned to Kevin due tomorrow in European date time. And here is list of pump overs and all the analyses that we're going to do across the tanks. Absolutely nailed it. And we made that work order in 5 seconds time flat. And that would have taken dozens of minutes to create. Okay, next one. Transfer tank 4 into tank 11. What I'm showing here is a more sort of seemingly complex one. It handles movements as well. So we can do more compliance implying work orders here, which is transferring tank 4 and tank 11. This is pretty cool. It heard tank 4. You see that? That's not what the tank is in InnoVint. The tank in InnoVint is called TK-04, but we have intelligent mapping to find those. And it has a lot code, and this tank is empty. And then we click into it, and here is that transfer work order from tank 4 into tank 11. Okay, continuing forward. Top 23 estate CF and let the cellar staff choose the topping barrels. You can see here, it heard me say 23 estate CF, doesn't quite know what that is. It heard the correct words, and now it's to figure out what it means, and it was able to actually match that with the right lot code. In this scenario, I'm letting the cellar staff choose the topping barrels. So this is a lot topping itself. You can also very easily specify which barrel or keg or different lot you want to use for your toppings. Okay, now I go into some quite complex work orders. So this one is querying all lots with alcohol less than 14. Also impressive of a query, very quick to get them all. And then it's now then creating that work order for his as well. Easy as that. Create an SO2 addition work order for the Tank 1 Chardonnay to raise the free SO2 from 18 to 30 ppm. Use KNBS and calculate the required amount. Okay, this is getting quite complex here. So it needs to decipher, again, all of my language, Tank 1 Chardonnay, ppm, KNBS. It's doing a handful of things. It's searching for the additives. It found KNBS. It now needs to calculate a sulfur addition rate, which is a specific tool we built. And then from here, it puts it all together into the proper addition task with the right additive, the right addition rate, and the right vessel with how much to add. Add 30 ppm of 6% sulfur to all lots sitting at less than 15 ppm of free sulfur. It's pretty cool because it's a bulk addition. So it's finding all lots with less than 15 ppm, and then it's doing a sulfur add again, calculating the correct sulfur rate to it, and absolutely nailing it again. I'm going to probably go a little bit faster here to keep the presentation going. There's one more I want to show you here on this. Create a work order to add nutrients to all my fermenting red lots that have a Brix over 20. Cool. So it should create a nutrient add. I didn't define which nutrient. That's important. So again, it heard me correctly. It's going to find Brix lots over 20. Here's finding those lots. You can see in the additives here, it says finding nutrients, but it found 4 types of nutrients. Found the lots, and now it's going to actually prompt me which nutrient would you like to add. And from here, I quickly tap it. And so in any scenario that if you don't provide enough information, it then prompts you to have the clarifying detail. And just like that, we've created a complete nutrient addition work order for our fermenting lots over 20 Brix. Again, this is all spoken right now. You can also type to text, and we expect the type to text to be quite impactful on the desktop version. Okay, we're now going to jump into what's called AI reporting. So what you saw there was work order generation, creation. AI reporting is a separate agent we have right now that allows you to create complex reports straight from your mobile device by simply asking your phone the data you want. We have a ton of prompts we can ask it, and again, seeing is believing. So let's go through a few of these requests now. Show me all of my barrel lots that haven't been topped in the last 3 months. Which lots are less than 75% of a single varietal? So you can see it's pulling up complex composition here for you to review quickly. I'm going to keep blasting through a few more here. Show me the last free sulfur readings on the InnoWine 4A Chardonnay. So it heard me, and it doesn't quite know what these inputs are. It's failed, but it has a feedback loop to keep trying and find what I mean. And it now searches a few other attributes here in the platform and then does correctly find the correct lot. It found the lot, yep. And it generates an awesome visualization here for the FreeSO2 history that you can click interact with from there. How many gallons do I have across wine color? We have some really powerful visualizations that utilize these queries. So it grouped all of my lots across color. It graphed them here, and then it has an actual breakdown that you can click in to find all of those lots, 56 lots it pulled from. Aggregate costs across still versus sparkling wines. This is really cool because we didn't have this complex reporting available from your device before, and now we're even pulling costing data here. It's graphing it for you, it's grouping it, and there's this cool thing called Refine. This Refine button lets you click it and add extra details to that request. So in this scenario, I average out the COGS per gallon across style. So instead of aggregate costs, I want average COGS per wine style. And then now it's updated the query to be COGS per unit, USD per gallon, and then gives me an average there. Okay, I'm gonna probably blast through this for any more reports that I wanted to show. We got kind of running low on time here. What I did want to show off maybe is one more, which is it is show me for the 2022. Show the last 5 Brix and temp values for the 2022 ferments. That's right. So this is showing a very specific batch of wines, their fermenting profile a couple of years ago. This is pulling historical data, and it has a really rich visualization here that's quite valuable and helpful on mobile. There we go. At the very bottom here, you can see it found the lots, and then it's graphing a handful of Brix and temps across lots that you can easily click through to turn on or off. I think I do it right here. Yeah, cool. All right, for the sake of time, I'm gonna have to cut off all these awesome queries I have. There's so much possibility here, and I'm super excited for you guys to ask it all of your questions to your heart's content. Okay, how to get started with it. It's simple. First, you need an admin to go into the settings section, enable the AI in there. This requires reading and agreeing to the terms of service. Once enabled, it's available for all your users. And then the work orders and voice reporting are in beta, and all you have to do is just click that request button, and we'll bring you into the early access. I'll mention a few things about our terms of service. Basically, we specifically pay for professional AI models, and this guarantees that Google does not train on any intimate customer data sent to them in the models. And then the terms of service clarify that AI outputs are not always accurate. We use very similar technology as all of the big AI companies do in their terms of service. But I do hope you'll turn it on and embrace the new capabilities of AI. Okay, I want to sort of take us to the outro here to sort of show where this is all headed. 3 years ago, we experimented with InnoVint plus ChatGPT, and candidly, at the time, it kind of felt like a party trick. It was cute, novel, but didn't deliver real operational value. And then I'd say over the last year, the technology has matured dramatically. In 2025, we intentionally focused on these 3 core areas for us to further out our agentic building, which is document import via the analysis import, the report generation, and the agent-driven execution work orders. We chose those 3 because they represent like the core categories of practical AI inside winery operations. But now we really have the experience and infrastructure to expand the AI much further across the platform. And I want to take a moment to talk about how important like strong guardrails are with AI and why we are uniquely positioned to harness AI. So InnoVint sits at the center of your winery as the system of record. For over a decade, we've built highly structured production logic engines around inventory tracking, blend composition, costing, and compliance. These are all very complex, strongly enforced rules that we engineer that we have engineered for accuracy and reliability. And that structure really matters. And that means for every action recorded, whether from a human, a mobile device, an integration, or an AI agent, all of that passes through that strict validation layer. That means the AI can move fast without breaking your data because we have the APIs to strictly enforce data correctness. So we can harness the power of agents while maintaining the integrity, the traceability and compliance your winery depends on. Frankly, if you were to let AI loose on a spreadsheet or a loose system of records, the data would go bad very quickly. Broken lot relationships, costing drift, compliance errors, etc. And that's really why these agents built on top of the system of record with strong APIs is so critical for these to be powerful and useful. Okay, on the outro here, I want to share the not too distant future about where we think this is all going. Imagine you're heading into the 2027 growing season and you could ask InnoVint AI this. Build and execute a detailed production plan for my 2027 Pinot Noir. Pull from the same vineyard blocks as last year, referencing our historical years from past growing seasons of similar degree days and climatic data. What date ranges can I expect to receive this fruit? How many cases of wine can I expect to produce from that fruit, considering the average losses? And how many new barrels do I need to order to meet the same percentage new oak target from last year? Compare this plan to our 2025 Pinot production program, which yielded a high score. We want to replicate it as closely as we can. Inform me of any major variances between plans. Pre-plan the work in advance, assigned to the same teams as last year, and on the anticipated completion date. It's an extra credit. Can I achieve all of this under $10 per gallon cost for wine? And if not, where are the best options to reduce costs but keep quality high? Extra credit is I'll be short 15,000 cases on my 2020. Show me a list of wineries that might be selling Pinot under $10 per gallon in California based on bulk marketplace activity across the past 3 years. That vision candidly is closer than we thought. 6 months ago, Ashton and I shared that vision at our team offsite. At the time, I thought it was quite far away, but today I can honestly clearly see how we build that. We're not fully there yet, but our team's expertise and our API foundation make it very achievable. As for our closing slide, I want to bring back InnoVint's founding principle. We put it on the shirt in one of our very first harvests. Wine isn't made behind a desk. It never was. It never will be. AI will help you spend less time behind a desk and instead spend more time building a healthy winery business.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Dan, for leading the way on AI at InnoVint, and it's been a great one.
Thanks so much, everyone.